Hey, it's Christine, owner and co-founder of PrettySpirits.com, your favorite online metaphysical shop. And on this channel, we talk all things spirituality and manifestation and entrepreneurship. And on today's episode, I'd like to talk about people pleasing. This is something that I've suffered from for a while until I actively took steps to be more empowered and to really speak up and state what it is that I really feel. And I know a lot of friends and clients that also go through this experience of constantly people pleasing. So if you're not familiar, people pleasing is the inability to really stand in your truth. It is this fear of not being accepted or being rejected or causing conflict by expressing what's really going on inside. So many people think that they do less damage by really holding their honesty to themselves, and they go with the flow. They let another party or group of people, go forward with their agenda because they just don't want to stir the pot. And I understand how many people are conflict averse. They really don't want to do anything that rocks the boat. But when you are constantly in a state of people pleasing, you do not manifest all that you really desire in life because that momentum is slowed down by you looking for validation outside of yourself. So something that really made me stop in my tracks when it came to people pleasing was realizing as I looked over my career path that I wasn't really true to myself along the way. And that actually delayed me stepping into a spiritual business by so many years because I was doing things to please family members, to please the idea that society has around using what you've majored in as your career path. And if you don't, then it was like a waste of the college experience. So by people pleasing in that way, I ended up picking career paths that really did not serve me. They were ultimately things that I felt drained in, I felt uninspired by, and that stress and tension caused a lot of anxiety and self-doubt. If I had gone within with a confidence that allowed me to reflect and then to act in my truth, I would have took the leap into entrepreneurship a while ago. So I really want to speak about this topic because a lot of us are blocking ourselves from our true spiritual gifts, from the alignment of our purpose, because we don't want to disappoint someone. We don't want to quit and leave the boss hanging. We don't want to, adjust things and make it harder on our partner and our families. Or there could be other areas that you're people pleasing outside of career and purpose. This could be in a relationship that you don't really vibe with anymore, friendship wise, or dating someone, or even being married to someone. And you're constantly just going with the flow because you don't want to make things messy or dramatic by saying how you actually feel. It's not really doing a disservice to that person. It's just putting a band-aid on a deeper issue. And if it's not addressed, there will be so much tension down the line that has built, and that can turn into resentment, into a even more dramatic ending. So think about times that you feel you have stepped into people pleasing and you really weren't being authentic with the other person. Now think about that experience and if it were flipped. And if someone was constantly being a yes man to you because they were afraid to lose you, because they didn't want you to be triggered and get angry with them, and they were doing all of this out of fear, not genuine love for you, not genuine respect for you, how would that make you feel? I know I would feel really, really crappy thinking that I'm in this connection with someone and they're doing these things from a place of love and real gratitude for our connection, or I'm in a friendship and the person is really my friend, but ultimately maybe they don't want to be alone, so they're just doing things to stay in the friendship, but really judging me behind my back, questioning the flow of things, and not feeling supported or really seen in that friendship. That isn't something that is healthy to sustain. And you would never want to be in that position to have someone secretly feeling negativity towards you because they couldn't speak up and say what it is that they needed. So some ways to kind of catch yourself from falling into a trap of constantly people pleasing is to be more self-aware. When you find yourself clamming up because you're so afraid to cause friction, to do something that the other person won't like, or you feel that you'll be chastised or judged because you think differently than the collective, I want you to honor yourself in that moment and realize when the tension rises, when the anxiety is triggered, that is temporary. That over the long term, it will become easier to say your truth, but you have to start it as a new habit. The more you avoid strengthening that courage, the more it won't grow, and the more you'll feel less and less more seen and more valued in this life. Having that for a long time can lead to even worse situations where depression, feelings of just less than, all of that can cause you to react in agitated ways. You can spaz on people and not even understand where your inner rage is coming from. But if you trace the steps back, you had been really feeding yourself. You hadn't been allowing your true self to be seen and supported. So you were never allowing the experience of other people honestly being there. It's a matter of trusting that your needs will be met. The reason why, like I said in the beginning, it affects your manifestations is because if you're holding in what you really think or what you really want, you're not communicating directly with universe. So if you're not being honest with spirit, with God, with the energy that creates worlds, if you're not being honest and speaking to what you want because you don't want to ask for something that may change everything, then you aren't here to serve your purpose. Everybody here has a separate purpose. And the more that we stand in our truth, the more harmony that we really can project throughout the world. But living in fear and just assuming someone's reaction is going to be negative to how you really feel, it's not giving other people a chance. It's not giving them credit for learning, for growing, and for them understanding this is how this person really wants to be loved. This is how this person really wants to be treated. Now I see it. When you hold that information in, no one can adjust and become better for you. You do not deserve to live a life where you are small and you put others above you or on pedestals. That's not an example that you want to set for yourself or your family, your children. But by speaking up and standing in your truth, that is empowering. You're saying that you matter and you're really, really worth hearing and seeing. People pleasing is something that a lot of us face because we just want that feeling of acceptance so badly. And I get that. But I encourage you to find out ways that you can self-accept a lot better. With me in the transition of what I was doing prior to psychic readings and spiritual counseling, I was in a totally different field. It was more entertainment focused, and the area that I was in was way more conservative about this type of work. So I felt such anxiety around me stepping out into the reality of who I am and living in that truth every day, and then being perceived as weird, being perceived as someone who just flipped everything, in her life, and it doesn't make sense. Like, you were this person, you were this way for so long. How are you all of a sudden this way? Like, people can't change or grow. And it made me delay before really stepping fully into this career path. I look back at the people that I was trying to please or trying to stay in their good graces and not be judged by. And majority of them, I don't even talk to anymore. Like, I don't care about. But at that time, it seemed so big. But the thing is, the more that I was honest about what it was that I really wanted and who I really was, the people that didn't match that and didn't accept it, they fell away. Why would I want to be around people like that anyway? So they fell away. And I was able to manifest the right community, the right love, the right circle that really rallied around me and, in fact, taught me more about my industry, supported my growth, and everything changed for me. It's something I want you to think about. In what ways have you not been honest with others because you just want that pat on the back from someone that isn't you? Make sure that your view of yourself, your opinion of yourself, and your journey forward, it is more important that you give yourself that validation. You give yourself that pat on the back, and your opinion matters more, because everyone else, they're trying to figure it out too. Nobody has all the answers. And really, you only want people who really see you to be around and have access. Otherwise, what's the point of sustaining a relationship based on a lie? That is super draining and super disempowering. It can be tricky when it comes to family, because that was another fear that I had when stepping into the line of work that I do. I mentioned before that I was raised Christian. So then you go into me having so many tarot cards, doing readings for others, and really expanding my gift in a way that was not practiced within my household. But again, that leap of faith into me living honestly is way better than me hiding these parts of myself from my family, because that can cause separation anyway. I'm doing all this work to people please and to go down a career path that is, approved. But if I sustained that, I would have never understood that my parents, my family, they would love me through whoever I decided to become. And giving them that chance allows them to show up. And then you have this closeness, this depth of the connection that is allowed to grow. I want that for you. So maybe do this activity so you can get more in touch with which areas you've been people pleasing. I love automatic writing. Automatic writing is taking a journal, taking a pen, and just writing out how you feel about a certain matter within your life. So you can start off with even saying, these are ways that I people please, and see what comes to mind. Don't try to filter it. Don't try to edit it in your mind, but get it onto paper. If you're someone who can't help but edit too much before you write it out, then again, record yourself. This is another way. Record yourself asking yourself questions about resentment that you may feel, anger that you may have. See why you have it on a deeper level, and unlock the core, because the core of it may hold a lot of you being inauthentic in order to gain acceptance, a promotion, a relationship. And living like that, it is not going to sustain happiness and true fulfillment long term. So try an activity that allows you to be very vulnerable, whether through writing, whether through speaking, but give yourself that space to show up for you and to let the truth come right on out. All right. So that's my talk on people pleasing. I mean, it's something I still step into from time to time, because even within customer service or just really trying to figure out how to scale within business, you want to make sure you're pleasing a certain segment of the population without losing your voice. So it's a fine dance, and it's something you may go through constantly throughout life, but don't let it get too out of hand, because again, you are deserving of joy. You are deserving of peace. And the more that we can just flow and being genuine, the better everything is. All right. Thank you for tuning in today. I ask you to subscribe. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed the content. Share it with somebody who's dealing with people pleasing, because it's really something that's not talked about a lot, because the people on the other side of people pleasing, they may understand that a truth isn't being spoken, but in that moment, they may just want to gain whatever they're being given. And it's not something that we advocate for our friends to, no, tell me the truth, or our partners to, you don't want to do this, tell me what you really do want to do. And I think it's a conversation that's really worth having, because we can have more value in our relationships by allowing the space of honesty on both sides. So share this video. Remember to find me on Instagram if you want to continue the conversation, or you can book a more in-depth session and we can work through people pleasing in my coaching sessions. They can be booked at prettyspirits.com. Thank you so much, guys, and until next time.